Today, we're going to be discussing the opposite angles of a parallelogram theorem. That is one of the objectives of the Common Core. That theorem states, in a parallelogram, opposite angles are congruent. Now, first thing we need to do is to sketch our parallelogram ABCD, and then from that, we want to devise a strategy that will be able to prove that these opposite angles. And we know one of the ways that we can do that is by creating essentially about four triangles, and then therefore using the corresponding parts to be able to prove that those angles are congruent. So our proof, our given, is parallelogram ABCD. Next, we want to prove that angle A is congruent to angle C, which is the opposite. Likewise, B and D are congruent because they're the opposite angles. So what we're going to do is construct diagonals of A, C, and B, D. Now we're given, again, the parallelogram ABC is given. And now we know that this line, BD, this segment here, and likewise AC are congruent to each other because of their common or reflective. All right? Next, we know that AB and CD are opposite sides of a parallelogram. We just proved that earlier, that they are congruent, and likewise that BC and AD are going to be congruent because they're opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. Next, we know that the triangle ABC, this triangle right here, is going to be congruent to this triangle here of CDA, and now using this line, we know that BCD is going to be congruent to DAB, okay? And all of that is because of side angle side, because we already proved it up here earlier where each one of these angles right here, each one of these sides are congruent, okay? And then from that, with these four triangles that we created there, then we know that the opposite, these corresponding points, that angle B is congruent to angle D, and likewise angle A is congruent to angle C because of corresponding parts. So therefore, we have proven in a parallelogram opposite angles are congruent.